Hello, everyone. This is your teacher, Julian Marin, and today we're going to review Martes de Prueba number 2 for the 8th grade in the year 2026. So for that, I'm going to start sharing my screen so we can look at the exercise we're going to solve. As I always tell you, the first thing we need to do is try to identify what kind of exercise we're going to be solving, and for that, the instructions are key. As you can see, I'm going to increase over here a little bit. As you can see, right, we have a text that we need to read, of course, but this is not only a reading comprehension exercise. This is an exercise in which we need to put into practice our knowledge of lexicon, the vocabulary, and also grammar, how to use the language in a better way. So for that, we need to complete these paragraphs, and more specifically, the sentences with the options that are given. And for that, we need to put into practice, as I mentioned, a variety of abilities, including, of course, understanding the context of what we read, especially in terms of time, right? We're talking about past, we're talking present, future, if it is passive, if it is progressive, because that also will suggest or give us better idea of what could be the best options, okay? So I'm going to scroll down a little bit so we can give a look to paragraphs, the first, the second, and the third paragraph to answer those first. Okay, so let me just over here. Let's start. Bulis is, 1 second over here. Okay, agenda. So Bulis is, so we got the first question here, 21. So we're talking about an old Irish tea house chain. Over here, the correct answer would be and. You will notice that sometimes you will evaluate the 3 options and probably the 3 could work. Semantic, I mean. The idea wouldn't change that much, but then you need to choose according to other criteria, right? In this case, we're talking about grammar, right? Which is the word that fits better grammatically. In this case, since we have a vowel, right here in old, we're going to choose and, because regularly that's what we do. If it is a consonant, we use e. If it is a vowel, the first word we find, the first letter we find after, so that would be and, right? So let's see how it sounds. Bulis is an old Irish tea house chain. The history of the famous Bulis Oriental cafes began in 1835, when Charles Bewley imported over 2,000 chests of tea directly from the Chinese province of Canton to Dublin. Okay, with that, we have finished the first paragraph. Let's continue, because in this second paragraph, we will find question 22. It does not look like a great deal today, but back then, it was a coup. Now let's remember this word. Coup is like a big achievement. No man before, and then we find options A, B, and C. No man before has taken, would taken, or had taken. In this case, also, grammar plays a key role in selecting the answer here, which will be have, because of the structure, had taken, okay? And because we're talking about the past and the time up until that moment, okay? So, no man before had taken the risk and imported tea directly into Ireland. Okay, with that, we have answered question 22. We finished with paragraph 2. Let's continue with the third paragraph, where we will find question 23. Samuel Bewley's son, Joshua, also became a tea merchant, like his father, and then we find options. Like his father, let's remember, we're talking about Joshua, okay? And then it says his father. So, of course, Joshua is a male name, okay? Talking about a man. So, that is key to select the answer. Like his father, imported. So, we're looking for he, they, or we. No plural, we're talking about singular and a male. So, that is why the correct answer would be A. Let's see how it sounds. Like his father, he imported tea into Ireland. A tea expert noticed that even the poorest Irish people bought only the finest tea. Okay, so with that, we have answered questions 21, 22, 23. So, of course, this continues. So we're going to close and we're going to scroll down a little bit so we can give a look to paragraph number 4 and number 5, and we can answer question 24. So the fourth paragraph starts with question 24. So we're talking about the end of the 19th century. So this is one of those cases in which if we finish the sentence here, right? Of course, it's not a close idea or entire idea, but the three options will fit. But that is why the information afterwards, or the information that we will find afterwards, it's key. So let's see how the sentence will end. A tea culture had developed in Ireland, okay? So we're talking up until this point, okay? Up until this point, and that is why the correct answer would be by, okay? By, because it's not just exactly a moment in time, we're considering what has happened before until that point. So that is why I would choose C, by. Let's hear how it sounds. By the end of the 19th century, a tea culture had developed in Ireland. In 1894, Joshua's son Ernest Bewley wanted to stimulate the market for a product that had been rather unknown that far, coffee. In the back of his shop in Dublin's George's Street, he began to run coffee-making demonstrations. His wife baked scones to go with the coffee, and the couple soon found out that their idea was extremely popular among customers. Okay, so with that, we have completed up until question 24. And then now we're going to move. Let's scroll up a little bit so we could see the final two paragraphs in which we will find question 25. Let's see. That marked the beginning of the first Bewley's Oriental Cafe. In Dublin's Radford Street, Ernest Bewley opened another Bewley's Oriental Cafe in 1927, on which he had, over here we find question 25, on which he had, and we have the options, invest, investing, and invested. The option here will be C, because of the structure we're talking about past, and we're talking about up until that moment, okay? So let's see how it sounds. On which he had invested about 60,000 pounds. During the World War II, Bewley's had to restrict the supply of tea to an ounce per head, and many customers switched to coffee. Today, Bewley's is Ireland's leading supplier of quality coffees and teas. Okay, and with this, we're finishing our review for this Martes de Prueba, number 2, for the 8th grade in the year 2026. I hope you have found it clear enough and also interesting and educational. So I hope to see you in the future. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and promote so other people can benefit from these reflections or reviews. Thank you very much. Hope to see you in the future.